The years go by, but the memories stays. And those were the good old days.
Thank you so much for going down memory lane with me. Let me take you back and tell you a real funny story. As I said in previous bids here along memory lane, my cousin Joey, my cousin Michelle, my cousin Lori, and I, we grew up a lot around each other, and we had our times of fighting and whatnot. Like I said, we got along for the majority of it, and Lori had lived, of course, as I said previously in vids previous. Lori had lived with my grandma and my grandma Emma and my grandpa Alfred. These being my dad's parents, of course. My grandpa Alfred, we've always called him Pap. With that being said, Pap, one particular, or Pap and Grandma had a garden, if you will. When you pulled in the back of the house, so they had the garage up yonder there. And anyway, that being said, there was a garden there. My Uncle Gary took care of the garden. He hoed it. He'd plow the garden and whatnot. It's just a real small garden. There was a garden behind that neighbors up the road, Chuck and Clee, had took care of. But that's a different story. Well, anyway, my Uncle Gary had growed he couldn't grow that much corn, but he had a couple stalks of corn out there, maybe 3 or 4 different stalks of corn. He would grow onions, maybe some green bean, if you will, and I believe he'd grow maybe some radishes and whatnot, but there was some tomatoes in there. And when the tomatoes would come off the stalk, the red tomatoes would get, and the tomatoes would get ripe. Me and Joey, my cousin Joey, would go up there, and we would just stand by the garden, and Joey's like, tomatoes, tomatoes, smash the tomatoes. And he'd go over there, and he'd sit there, and he'd just smash the tomatoes down, the red tomatoes. And he had smashed just about every single one off of one particular tomato plant, if you will. Well, Uncle Gary comes over like a few hours later, and Joey and I and my cousin Lori, we're playing lawn darts with my uncle Alvin, which is Lori's dad. We called him Uncle Ab, as I said previously in vids. We're playing lawn darts with him out in the yard there, and out in the front yard, and all of a sudden Uncle Gary comes. Oh, my cousin Michelle, by the way, she was admiring the neighbor boy across the street. His name was Paul Burkhart. Michelle had a crush on Paul, or maybe it was an obsession. Nonetheless, Uncle Gary comes over, and Uncle Gary says he goes up to the garden and whatnot. He comes into the house, and I hear him yelling about something, and Pap's sitting out on the front porch there, drinking him a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Since us kids called him Pap, he said Pabst Blue Ribbon was his beer because it's Pabst. Get it? Nonetheless, he comes out. He's like, "Hey, Dad." I said, "Yeah, Gary. What's his big problem?" He says, "Well," he said, "I want to go get some tomatoes out of the garden." He said, "All the tomatoes are smashed." He's like, "Smashed?" He's like, "What are you talking about, smashed?" He's like, "All the tomatoes are smashed." Well, Pap says, "Hey, Larry Joseph, Cornell, Roger Lewis, get your asses over here." He goes, "Yeah?" He goes, "Where's those 2 girls at? Where's Lori? And where is Shell?" So, "Oh, Lori, Shell, all us 4 kids are over there." And he's like, "I don't think you girls have done this." He goes, "So I'm going to," "I'm going to dismiss you 2 girls and go back to doing what you was doing." He said, "Now you 2 boys," he goes, "what possessed you to smash tomatoes?" Joey says, "What do you mean, Pap? We smashed tomatoes." I said, "Yeah, Pap, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Now you boys, tell me why you smashed tomatoes. I said, I didn't smash tomatoes, Pap. He's like, you didn't? Well, Joey goes, why'd you smash tomatoes for? Joey says, I didn't smash tomatoes, Pap. He goes, I'll tell you what, boy. He goes, if you don't tell me the truth, he goes, I'm just going to pull it off my belt and let my belt do the talking because I'm tired of talking. After a couple more rounds, Pap started to get ready to take his belt off, and Joey says, well, Pap, he goes, I smashed tomatoes. He goes, I smashed them. I told Pap, I said, yeah, Pap, I said, I joined in too, so I smashed a couple myself. And he's like, I tell you what, you boys, he goes, you boys get in there, and you boys sit in there on that couch until I'm ready to get in there and decide a punishment. He goes, there ain't no need, man, smashing tomatoes in the garden after the garden's well taken care of by your Uncle Gary, and you boys want to go in there and smash up the tomatoes. He said, that's just not the right thing to do. Our punishment was Pap had grounded us that evening from the particular TV shows. Joey and I would try to sneak in there, but Pap would be looking in on us, and he grounded us from that evening of TV shows. And back in the day, that was the lineup. I forget what night it was. Punky Brewster was on, and a couple other classic shows of the early 80s. But with that being said, we missed out on that, and looking back on that now, it was just a funny time nonetheless. There was a time where green tomatoes, but tomatoes weren't quite ripe yet, but Papa wanted Grandma to fry up some fried green tomatoes. And I tell you what, Grandma, there was nothing like Grandma's fried green tomatoes. And I've had some along the way since that particular time, and there ain't nobody or anybody that could compare to Grandma's fried green tomatoes. And I think, you know what, Grandma's always make things with love, and I think Grandma's cooking was made with love, because I tell you what, us kids, we really enjoyed Grandma's cooking there at the house in Bolivar. I miss Grandma Emma, and as I said before, and I'll say it again, I miss Grandma Emma, and I miss Pap. Pap had definitely given me and Joey a lot more discipline than he did Michelle and Lori, because Michelle and Lori, being girls, really didn't get into much trouble. They got into their share, but they didn't get into much trouble like me and Joey. Funny time nonetheless. I miss Joey, and I miss Grandma Emma, and I miss Pap. And I know they're looking down on me now, and they're mighty proud of what I've accomplished, what Lori has accomplished, and what Shell has accomplished. They're mighty proud of us all. I miss them, and I love them. Thank you so much for going down memory lane with me. I'll catch you next time.